The top 5 most haunted places in Newcastle. Number 5. The Old Newcastle Courthouse. The Old Newcastle Courthouse is said to be one of the most haunted places in all of the city. There have been many ghostly sightings in the Church Street building. Jurors have reported feeling as if they were being watched from the upstairs public gallery during trials. Jurors have also reported hearing the rattling of doors, cold spots throughout the building. One juror described a ghost in a pillbox hat and gloves sitting in the gallery with her hands folded in her lap. Number 4. Miss Porter's House. Miss Porter's house in King Street in Newcastle West was built in the early 1900s by the Porter family. Sisters Ella and Hazel, both spinsters, lived in the house their entire lives. The longest surviving sister, Hazel, requested after her death that nothing in the house was to be touched. To this day, everything in the home is just as the sisters left it, complete with their clothes, furniture, and even cutlery. Visitors to the home report seeing apparitions of the sisters dressed in slippers and a skirt. There have also been claims that furniture moves around the house seemingly all by itself. Number 3. The Royal Newcastle Hospital. The Royal Newcastle Hospital operated for almost 190 years. It was built by convicts in 1817 and has a rich history of ghost sightings. Full-bodied apparitions in hallways, ghostly workmen walking into lifts, including one woman who continued to set off the buzzer in a hospital room after her death. Number 2. The Civic Theatre. Richard Laws, who has worked the front of the house for almost 30 years, is said to have had several encounters with ghosts in the Civic Theatre. The most famous ghost in the Civic Theatre is Joe. Joe was a broken-hearted lover who was separated from his sweetheart. It is said that Joe's spirit has remained at the theatre ever since, hoping to meet her again. Joe once apparently had a long conversation with former Newcastle Deputy Lord Mayor Frank Rigby. As the story goes, Mr. Rigby was sitting alone in the theatre one evening, pondering the lack of funds that were required to renovate the run-down theatre. This is when Joe apparently seated himself down next to Mr. Rigby and insisted on talking to him. Mr. Rigby explained to Joe that the cost of refurbishing the orchestra pit couldn't be covered by the city's budget. The ghost turned, smiled and told him not to worry about it, and that everything would turn out alright. Not long after this conversation, Newcastle was struck by a devastating earthquake. Somehow the Civic Theatre was spared from destruction, except for one place: the orchestra pit. Number 1. Maitland Jail. Maitland Jail opened its gates in 1848 and closed the facility in 1998. 150 years of brutal history. A total of 16 men were executed by hanging in Maitland Jail between 1843 and 1897. These public executions up until 1861 were carried out at the front gates of the jail. Tours now run throughout the year in Maitland Jail, and people constantly see ghostly figures, hear screams and other strange noises. But perhaps the most frightening story of all was of a former inmate in cell 4, C block. The story goes that after forming a pact with the devil, he committed suicide. The guard, who cleaned up the mess, was later found dead in his bathroom. A message scrawled in his blood said that he killed himself in order to contain the satanic forces. The cell, covered with satanic messages, remains padlocked to this day. If you've got a ghost story, post it in the comment section below, or tag someone that you think should watch this video before they go to sleep.